Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Matt Antonelli here.
Hey everybody, what's going on? How we doing? Answering your questions today. Today's question is, who was the coolest player that I ever played with in the major leagues? Nowadays, I think you'd call them lit. I refuse to say the word lit. It just sounds strange. It makes me feel old when everybody's saying lit. I say cool. That was like the thing that you said when I was younger. But anyways, who was the coolest player I ever played with in the major leagues? I was really lucky when I was with the Padres. We had our veteran players were a great group of guys. They were like the nicest people ever. They didn't act like they were these big time major league all stars and in some cases Hall of Famers. The veteran guys on the team when I made my debut were guys like Trevor Hoffman, who I've said is like the nicest guy of all time. Like if you haven't seen my video on like my mom bothering him and like I'd come out of the stadium and my dad would be sitting on a picnic table talking with them, and I'd be like, oh, jeez, what are they talking about? But like he'd like always talk to my family. He's the nicest guy ever. Adrian Gonzalez was on our team. Again, super like humble, nice guy. Here's a guy that's like leading the league and one of the league leaders and like hitting all the time and just like super, super nice guy. Who else do we have for veterans? David Eckstein was like a great guy, just another humble guy. Guy wins the World Series. I think he was a World Series MVP and like just super nice guy. Brian Giles, again, just all these guys, great group of older guys. If I've got to say the coolest guy, though, I would say that one of the funnest guys to be around in the clubhouse, especially during spring training, was Brian Giles. Had an amazing career, super long career. His brother Marcus played with us actually also for a little bit. They were both a little crazy, but they were some of the nicest guys. And if you want to say coolest, some of the stuff that they did was they were the funniest guys. Brian Giles was one of the funniest guys, that I had an experience to be around in the major leagues. So coolest guy for a couple of reasons. For one, when I was in the minor leagues, he had to rehab a couple times, and he was like the most generous guy of all time. So every time he'd come down to rehab, he would like basically bring a restaurant to the clubhouse after the game, and they'd cook us like these humongous meals. I remember one game in Lake Elsinore, there was an Outback Steakhouse right near us, and they brought down like these grills. They brought down like 8 million bloomin' onions and cheese fries, and they're cooking up steaks for us. And they've got, for the whole team, it was unbelievable. And he did this like every game. He brought like different restaurants. Like we ate peanut butter and jelly every other day. And then when he would come down to rehab, not that we were like cheering, like, oh, I hope Brian sprains an ankle tonight or something so he can come down and feed us. But like, that's kind of what it was like. Like, it was unbelievable. When I was in the major leagues, he used to do like things. He used to have like sushi night where he'd bring in sushi chefs, and the whole team would, he'd feed the whole team in the major league sushi. So he did like all these. He was just a super generous guy, but then he was like hilarious. So he was like, everyone always asks like who was like the prankster of the team. Like he would do these super funny things where like I don't even know some of the things. Like we used to have like yoga class, and he would come in with like this, I don't even know what you want to consider. It was like this little like chicken head thong or something, and he would like walk in the yoga room. Like it might sound a little strange, but it's funny when everyone's sitting there very quiet, like namaste, doing all this stuff, and then some guy walks in with like a chicken head thong walking in. He would he'd hit BP and like a jock strap and cleats and like nothing else, and like he just did these really strange things. But it's funny when you see a guy that's so successful in the major leagues have such a great career, but is able to like keep things very, very lighthearted. And, in a stressful situation where obviously Major League Baseball, it's a business and there's a lot of stress and guys are fighting for jobs, and you have to, it can get really tense at times. To be able to have some guys that are able to keep things really loose and keep things fun and enjoyable for old guys. I think that's pretty important while still having an amazing career. The guy had like a super long, successful career and was, you know, I've never looked again. I don't know his numbers exactly, but I know they had some really, really good numbers. But he was one of those dudes where he could just freaking hit, like just a great hitter. He'd make plays in the outfield where like, he'd come up with these plays, like diving plays, and he just made big plays all the time. But he could really, I remember just watching him and just thinking he can really hit. Like he had this swing that like, it wasn't like the prettiest swing. It wasn't like this textbook swing, like lefty, and he'd like do this and he'd be like, oh, that doesn't look like the prettiest. But he freaking hit. He'd find a way to just get knocks. And so I would say out of all the players I played with, when you're thinking about cool, funny, generous, all those things, I think I would say that he was the coolest. But again, I got really lucky with a lot of great guys. I thought Trevor Hoffman was probably one of the nicest guys. Tony Clark was another guy that I got to play a little bit with. He was like one of the nicest guys of all time too. He was a major league veteran. One thing about Tony Clark, I remember like I was obviously a nobody. I mean, I was a high prospect and a high draft pick, but I never did anything in the major leagues. But like from the first time I was on a major league team and Tony Clark was with us, like I remember he knew my name right away, and he always knew my name. I always wondered, like, how does this guy, all these players, he's played with thousands of players, played in the big leagues forever, like, and I just met the guy, and he'd always be like, hey, Matt, how you doing today? Like, and I was like, how did the guy know my name already? Like, how does he remember that? And I remember after I played, I was out of playing, and I saw him. I can't even remember where the hell I was. And, like, he remembered my name again. I'm like, how does he know who I am? So he was just a super, super nice guy as well. So I got really lucky, but I'm giving the award to Brian Giles for all those reasons above. Very cool guy. Good dude. So that's all I got. Thank you for your questions. Keep sending them in. I'll keep answering them. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. Share the video with all your friends. Check the description box below. I've got a bunch of stuff down there for you guys to check out. And that's all I got. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later.